Of 2 death row inmates is delayed. We have the story. Another night of tornadoes in the metro. We'll tell you what happened. And the latest from the New Mexico movie set shooting. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Katie Arata.
And I'm Mecca Thompson. We begin tonight with the latest on 2 Oklahoma death row inmates, John Grant and Julius Jones. Both high-profile inmates face an uncertain future on death row. Alyse Jones followed the case this afternoon and joins us live with updates from the newsroom. Alyse, what can you tell us?
Katie and Mecca, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals granted a delay in the executions of John Grant and Julius Jones this afternoon. This comes after a district judge denied stopping their executions on Monday, but his decision was challenged. John Grant and Julius Jones, 2 death row inmates set to receive lethal injections, were granted a stay in their executions. The state of Oklahoma might appeal the circuit court's decision to the United States Supreme Court, as Grant's execution date was set for tomorrow. The appeals occurred due to a lawsuit filed that challenges the state's execution protocol, stating it's unconstitutional. After this challenge, 6 inmates, including John Grant and Julius Jones, were dropped from the lawsuit, but their execution dates were still scheduled. When they were added back onto the lawsuit, their lawyers argued their execution dates should be delayed. The inmates hope for a February trial. The execution chamber closed for 6 years after a series of botched executions, but the state claims they have reviewed procedures and are ready to start executions again. Executions in the state do resume. A judge ordered Oklahoma to preserve evidence from the execution. He also ordered for medical witnesses to have access to autopsies and observe the execution. This is the state's way of hoping to have the evidence to prove an execution was not a cruel and unusual punishment if a case against it was filed. In the newsroom, Alyse Jones, OU Nightly.
Well, it has been a cold and windy day here in Norman.
Yes, and the question is this our new normal? Catherine Liberta has a first look at our forecast. Catherine?
Yeah, like the mic is plugged into the...
Feeling very cold here in Norman. We've got a drastic change in temperatures over the last 24 hours because we had not 1 but 2 cold fronts move through over those last 24 hours. We can see here in Norman and Oklahoma City almost a 20-degree drop in temperature. Out in the Panhandle, 25-degree difference. But in the eastern part of the state, they haven't seen that second cold front come through just yet, so they don't have as much of a change in temperature. But we can see where that cold front is when we look at our winds right here, where we have that change in direction of those winds is where we are seeing that cold front. But then look at the Panhandle. Those aren't gust winds. Those are consistent winds. So very, very strong winds out in the Panhandle, and those winds and that air is very dry that came after that cold front. You're going to want to stick around because I have more on when we can see cold weather next week. Ladies?
There are a little less than 900 new cases of COVID-19 today. This is according to the latest numbers from the Oklahoma State Department of Health. This increase brings the active caseload to more than 6,000. The CDC says just over 11,000 people have died from the virus. Experts say just under 50% of Oklahomans are fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
And the U.S. is making strides in their effort to implement more gender-inclusive policies. Tyler DeLuca has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Mecca. Evidence is being collected from the set of the movie Rust after an accidental killing involving actor Alec Baldwin. This comes after Baldwin shot a prop gun and killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
As of right now, there were 3 firearms that were located on the set within close proximity to the incident. We're still going to determine. We'll send the firearm that was fired by Mr. Baldwin to the crime lab and do a functionality test. Obviously, it did fire a live round.
Alec Baldwin has been cooperating with the investigation, and the live round has been recovered. A January 6th rioter becomes the first with Proud Boy ties to plead guilty. Micaiah Jackson will take a plea deal with the Justice Department and plead guilty to a misdemeanor for illegally protesting in the Capitol. According to prosecutors, Jackson was with Proud Boy leaders as they breached the first barricades on January 6th. While Jackson appears to be the first rider to plead guilty with ties to the Proud Boys, his plea deal does not require him to cooperate against the group. And the State Department has issued the first U.S. passport with an X in the gender marker. This change was made in an effort to implement more gender-inclusive policies. The department previously announced in June that procedures will be updated to allow people to self-select their sex marker. This means medical certification is no longer required if genders on different documents are not the same. Routine passport applications will be updated with this option in early 2022. And for the first time in 20 years, sales went up. Back to you at the desk.
Well, we know the mic works.
Thanks, Tyler. It's almost time for Halloween and time to get into the spooky spirit. Find out what the Engineering Club is doing to celebrate the holiday when we return.
Plus, nursing shortages are happening across the nation. We'll tell you what OU is doing to combat the shortage of nurses in the state of Oklahoma straight ahead on OU Nightly.
Halloween is right around the corner, and if you can't wait much longer, there will be a haunted house on campus tonight. The Engineering Club is hosting their annual haunted house beneath the engineering quadrant. The tunnels underneath the engineering complex connect to each of the buildings. There are 8 engineering organizations this year, and for each one, there will be an allotted section in the tunnels to each group. Plus, any student who comes has a chance to win one of 3 $500 scholarships.
This has been a really stressful year for everyone, and we wanted to give back to the community and provide an opportunity and some incentive for people to come out, relax, take a mental health break, and come to a social event.
All OU students are welcome to attend, plus any Norman residents who live near campus and are ready to get their scare on.
Oklahoma has been ranked the 5th state for the least amount of nurses for the past 20 years. And the American Nurses Foundation discovered that 92% of nurses are considering leaving the workforce as a result of COVID-19. OU Nightly's Jessie Klinger shows us how the University of Oklahoma is working to combat this crisis.
The Oklahoma nursing shortage is a staffing crisis that has prevailed for more than the past 2 decades. And while the COVID-19 pandemic has stretched nurses to their limits, the OU College of Nursing is dedicated to finding a solution. OU Health has introduced incentives including higher hourly rates and the OU College of Nursing Degree Accelerator Program, providing nurses with tuition reimbursements or scholarships if they wish to continue their education.
Though, and some nurses have found it to be really beneficial and they love taking up extra shifts. And others have been, it's just still not worth it. It's not enough money for me.
It's more than just, the education of nursing students. It's the lack of faculty in the classroom.
Another issue is that many nurses who receive an education in Oklahoma prefer to work out of state. The national average of registered nurses per 1,000 residents is 12.06, while Oklahoma's average is only 11.2.
At other hospitals, they're doing the internship, and what that does is get those nurses, the nursing students, precepted in those facilities, and the hope is that that will really get them embedded into that hospital more quickly after graduation and keep them long-term.
One of the reasons nurses are choosing to leave the state is for opportunities and specialties that have lower burnout rates. But right now, Oklahoma is in need of nurses in the ICU and ER.
But you're also going to have a segment of students who look at that and say, I can do this. I can get in there and help, and they have that grit. That's a hard job that nurses have done for centuries.
Working nurses, nursing professors, and nursing students are all hopeful for the future of the Oklahoma nursing workforce. For OU Nightly, I'm Jessie Klinger.
This past spring, the OU College of Nursing had 287 graduates.
If you're a fan of golf, Main Street has a new addition, and it involves putt-putt. Get your clubs ready because when we return, we'll have all the details about this new attraction.
Plus, Catherine and Liberta will be giving us details about last night's storm and crazy winds here in Oklahoma. Catherine?
Yeah, we are seeing some crazy winds right now, and I'll give you a short recap of what happened last night. Stay tuned, weather is next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I want to take a quick look at what we saw last night. We had some severe storms come through Right around 1 a.m. is where we saw those greatest storms come through, and we did have a tornado touch down in northeast Norman. But looking at our radar earlier this morning, this same line of storms that that produced that tornado in Norman last night produced some tornadoes down in the southern Texas, excuse me, right north of Houston. And these tornadoes continue to move across into Louisiana as we move throughout the day. And like I said, tornadoes across the state all day, severe storms, and we continue to see those storms throughout the day and even into this afternoon. But look at this tornado from Orange, Texas. This is as it was crossing into the over the Texas-Louisiana border, excuse me. You can see Mary Fan caught this video, and there was lots of debris with this tornado. We don't have an official rating just yet, but you can see an ATV falling out of the sky with that tornado. So lots of debris, and here in Norman we didn't have just as much. We had this shelf cloud. I got this video earlier this morning as that cold front that I talked about earlier moved in. It was pushing that cold air in and that warm air out, which is what has caused this shelf cloud to appear. And we can see just that on radar. We had this warm air right here and that cold front that moved through, and that is what pushed out and brought us those beautiful clouds. It was beautiful to look at, but right now it's also caused temperatures in Norman and Oklahoma City to sit just under 60 degrees, and it's also brought some very, very strong winds across the entire state. Right here is where that cold front is sitting, and it hasn't moved through the entire state just yet, but it's also brought some very dry air for us out on the panhandle and throughout most of the state. But looking at next week, we're going to start to see some cooler temperatures later this week and into next week. Next week, we're going to have a major cold front come through midweek, and that is going to bring us some cool temperatures. But lows tonight, a beautiful night across the entire state, and highs tomorrow, very, very windy, but again, a gorgeous day. And then looking at the rest of this weekend, game day is going to be gorgeous, and like I said, very consistent cooler temperatures, but then we are going to see that cold front move through Tuesday and into Wednesday. Ladies.
Birdie Putt-Putt Mini Golf is now open on Main Street in Norman. OU Nightly's Kaylee Stinglestad was there putting her skills to the test.
Okay, we're gonna count.
2 years ago, Gabriel Bird built this dentistry office on Main Street. It was part of a dream to revitalize downtown Norman. Now, he's launching something fun right next door.
My real goal is for people to come enjoy themselves. Downtown Norman is a very special place, and the more things we have to do down here, the more people can enjoy a full day of time down here.
The president of the Norman Chamber of Commerce is excited for what this can bring to downtown.
This putt-putt course is really a neat feature. We want to encourage people to come downtown every day of the week, all times of day.
All you need is a putt and a ball.
Visitors can bring their own equipment or check it out right next door at Recess Taco Park. Bird says there's no fee, but what he really wants is for the course to be a fundraiser for nonprofits across Norman. At each hole, there is the name of a nonprofit and a QR code where you can learn about the organization and donate money. Bird hopes this course provides another safe space for people to enjoy themselves.
Seeing people out here enjoying themselves, a safe enough place that it's outdoors and people can spread out, and every now and then we'll be up here working, we'll hear some people laughing down here, so it's fantastic.
And maybe one day there will be 9 more holes around Norman, but for now, this space is a hole in one. Kaylee Tinglestad, OU Nightly.
The course is open at all times if you have your own putter and ball. If not, you can still enjoy the course whenever Recess Taco Park is open.
And the Sooners look to bounce back from a tough win over Kansas this Saturday.
Nirali Jayswal has that story and more in Sports Day. Nirali, how are the Sooners looking ahead on this weekend?
Sooners are getting ready and should have a couple key players back as well. Plus, a Sooners defensive back was named a finalist for an award. Stay tuned to find out who. Sports is next. Hi, welcome back. I'm Nirali Jayswal, and it's time for sports. Sooners football remains undefeated, but they have not gone untested. Next up on the schedule is the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Last time they met, it was a Sooners blowout in Lubbock. Saul Meyer tells us that Sooner fans can rest easy after last week's close call in Lawrence.
Last Saturday, the Sooners avoided a scare against conference opponent Kansas, which left many OU fans doubting whether or not this is a top-tier team. Head coach Lincoln Riley says it's time to relax.
We're closer than you guys think, and we're probably a little bit closer than fan base, national perception, all that thing. So I know this. I've been around here long enough. You keep winning, then things tend to kind of work themselves out. And we've had 8 chances. We've done it 8 times. We've got the longest winning streak in the country. Sky's not falling. Don't write us off just yet.
OU H-back Jeremiah Hall tells us how they plan on keeping that winning streak going.
This week, or so far this week, we've been emphasizing competition, just straight out there going to compete, trying to bring back that, fall camp mindset as if we're 0-0 again.
While the Sooners are preparing for this matchup like they're 0-0, the number 4 team in the country is actually 8-0 and plan on improving that to 9-0. Saul Meyer, OU Nightly.
OU's defensive back Pat Fields is a finalist for the Campbell Trophy. He was selected to become a member of the 2021 NFF National Scholar Athlete class. This prestigious award is given to the absolute best football scholar athlete in the nation. The winner from the group of finalists will be announced on December 7th. We have a bedlam battle today for the East Lake Cup. OU defeated Pepperdine on Tuesday to advance to today's final against Oklahoma State, and they are still out on the course. The Atlanta Braves had a dominating win against the Houston Astros in Game 1 of the World Series, winning 6-2. This was the first series game they've won since 1996. Braves' Jorge Soler became the first player in the Major League history to hit a home run in the first at-bat of a World Series game. Atlanta hopes to take Game 2 tonight in Houston and go back home with a commanding lead in the series. After coming out of 3 straight losses, the OKC Thunder were hoping for a win against the Golden State Warriors last night, but fell short, losing 106-98. OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander picked up his first 30-piece of the season, going 11 for 19 from the field with 4 made 3-pointers. Thunder fans hope to come out with their first win against the Lakers tonight at the Paycom Center. And now for the winner of the Whiner of the Week, it's former Washington State football coach Nick Rolovich. The Cougars coach was fired for not getting the COVID-19 vaccine by the required deadline. He is now suing the university for illegal termination after not following the contract requirements. I'm sure he will have plenty of time to now enjoy this bottle of Merlot. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Nirali. After the break, find out which Halloween candy is most popular in your state.
We'll tell you about these favorite treats when we come back.
I'm Dana Searles at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Republican State Senator Greg Treat has announced changes in GOP leadership positions. Senator Greg McCourtney was named the Oklahoma Senate Majority Floor Leader today. McCourtney will be replacing the first female majority leader in state history, Senator Kim David. David was term limited but has announced plans to run for the State Corporation Commission. Back to you guys.
And if you'd like to debate what Halloween candy is the best, this interactive map might help you make your case. It shows the most popular holiday treat in every state.
It looks like here in Oklahoma, Skittles are the most popular, but in my home state of Nevada, Hershey Kisses are the most popular.
And see, in my home state of Texas, Starbursts are the most popular.
And speaking of Halloween, Sunday is slowly creeping up on us.
Catherine, are we going to need to bundle up on Halloween night?
You're definitely going to want to grab a jacket on Halloween, but thankfully you won't need one on the game on Saturday. It's going to be Halloween weekend, and we're going to have a beautiful game for us. Now, hopefully the Sooners won't scare us as much as they did last weekend in Kansas, but remember, it's a 2:30 kickoff, so the sun is still going to be shining, and we're going to have, again, those beautiful temperatures for us. But if you are heading out on Halloween, you're going to want to grab a jacket because we're going to have some pretty chilly temperatures. Ladies.
Thanks, Catherine. Now, thank you for joining us for OU Nightly, live from Gaylord College on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
Make sure to follow us on social media for the latest updates and tune into OU Nightly weekday live at 4:30. Good night.